So, welcome to the Caribbean. We're going to be flying Patrick's flight from Venezuela into St. Martin. So that's Sierra Victor Papa Romeo into Tango November Charlie Mike. We find ourselves here at Maho Beach, just admiring the beach goers who are waving at all the airplanes flying in, except in real time, of course. It's the middle of the night, so we've artificially fast forwarded so it's daytime, but it's quite a nice sight really to see all these happy beach goers. So we'll just have a quick look at the airport. There we go. Absolutely gorgeous. What a fantastic setting. As usual, we're going to start with the flight planning. So with that in mind, here's Patrick's flight from General Manuel Carlos Piar International, Sierra Victor Papa Romeo, into Tango November Charlie Mike, St. Martin. We'll look at the departure first of all. So Patrick has specified a departure from runway 08. And if I just overlay the... No, wrong button. Let's try that again. If I just overlay the chart onto here. So we've got an initial outbound track from the runway. We pick up the 066 radial. Climb to 4,000 feet or above, right turn, back overhead the Golf November Alpha VOR, and then right turn outbound to, where is it? There you go, Mike Uniform November. And then we've got this fairly straightforward route, routing out over the Caribbean, all the lovely islands, so it'll be very scenic, I'm sure. Unless it's cloudy. Then we get to St. Martin. Now, St. Martin, Patrick has posted an arrival which he specifies as the Foxtrot 10 approach with the Papa Juliet Mike transition. Okay. Now, I think what this means is that he's looking to do the wrong chart. There we go. This approach here, so we'll be coming in from sort of the southeast, this sort of direction. Overhead Papa Juliet Mike, which is on the airfield. Outbound 308 radial. Left turn. Inbound 096 radial. Here's the Foxtrot 10. Final approach fix for runway 10. There. Into the runway. It's slightly offset, but that won't cause us any problems. It'll be visual by then. So that's all fairly straightforward, except it's not, because there's no DMEs listed, so it's all based on timing. Okay, so outbound on the 308 radial. Yeah. 2 minutes after going outbound, you do the left turn. Inbound 096, and once you're on the inbound track 096, you can start your descent, because this is a non-precision approach. There is lateral guidance, no vertical guidance. We'll be flying the 737-600, and our approach speed will be generally about 140, maybe 160. Our final approach speed will be 120 something or other, 125, something like that. Okay, and this here, these numbers here, specify the rate of descent, feet per minute, that you need if your approach speed is 140 or 160. Okay, now that's ground speed. Okay, not airspeed, that's ground speed. In zero wind, it would be the same, but it probably won't be zero wind. Okay, so that's the ground speed. So if we're coming in on 096 radial, at 160 knots on the ground speed, should be descending at 850 feet per minute in order to arrive at the missed approach point, which is 1040 feet. Okay, non-precision approach, you get to the minimum descent, the MDA, as soon as you can. Okay, gives you more time at the minimum descent altitude to see your quarry, which is the runway. So you get down in the minimum safely at the minimum, time possible, so you've got more time at the MDA to see the runway environment. That's a minimum descent altitude, MDA, in contrast to a precision approach which has a decision height. But this is not a precision approach, this is a non-precision approach. You've got lateral guidance only. Okay, so that's the top-down view of the approach. That's the vertical view of the approach. Remember, it's just 2-minute turn. Okay, so you'd start your turn after flying outbound 2 minutes. Then it's a left turn inbound 096, and once you're on the 096 inbound radial, you start your descent at an appropriate vertical speed as listed here or here. Okay, so that's one thing. That's what Patrick has specified. Now there is another way of flying this. Okay, if we go, he specified the waypoint Beaupart. This is a possible routing. Doesn't say we have to. It's a possible routing Beaupart. Beaupart is down here by ANU. Okay, if I can show it to you here, Beaupart. There it is, just coming up. There we go. That's Beaupart, and I've got ANU on my flight plan, which is on the airway. So mine goes from ANU over to ELOPO, because ELOPO there is a star, okay, that takes us to this waypoint Elora. Then we do a very sharp right hand turn to Aluba to join the final approach fix for runway 10, the FF10, okay, into St. Martin. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to do this one here first of all, because this doesn't transition a Papa Juliet Mike, and that's what Patrick has specified. So we go ELOPO, we follow this star, which is the Aluba 1, right turn to Aluba, then to final approach fix runway 10, and then into St. Martin. Then we will do the missed approach. Okay, so if I get this chart on the screen, no, wrong one, keep doing that, there we go. So we got to Aluba, and then we get to De Beer, Aluba at 1600 feet, De Beer at 1600 feet. That's our final approach fix with a propeller marking there. Then we start our inbound track 096. Okay, and as you can see, this also goes down to the minimum descent altitude as early as possible. The minimums are less, the minimum descent altitude is less, and we go to the MDA at about the same sort of descent rate, feet per minute here, and then we will be doing the missed approach. Okay, and the missed approach is basically track outbound 180, climb to 4,000 feet, passing 2,600 within 10 DME, then turn left direct PJM. So we go right turn onto a track 180, climbing 4,000 feet, passing 2,600 within 10 DME. Okay, so we stay within this arc, because this arc has got other aircraft approaching St. Martin. So we go in, then it's a left turn back towards PJM, and then we will follow this. So we'll do this approach, do missed approach, and come back in and do the Papa Juliet Mike VOR X-ray. Okay, so hopefully I haven't confused you too much. Stick with me, I'm sure it'll all come clear, or not, we'll find out together. Okay, so I'll see you at the aircraft. Okay, so here we are at the airport, Sierra Victor Papa Romeo, otherwise known as General Manuel Carlos Piar International. We're in the 737-600 Caribbean Airlines, and we're all looking good. So let's get in the aircraft. We're on ground power at the moment. So switch off the developer camera and we'll go into the cockpit and start our usual prep. Okay, so we've got the flight plan in SimBrief. So we've got a block fuel of, no, that can't be right. Let's just double check our facts and figures. It's giving me the INI bills. That's why I did it last time in the different aircraft. So let's just select the right aeroplane. No, that's also the wrong aeroplane. Let's do it that again, shall we? Oh dear. Yes. Maybe don't fly with me today. Okay. So let's get the route. So we want the Golf November 1 and the ELOPO 1. Copy. And we go back to SimBrief. Go down to the flight plan. Here we go. Paste it in. Runway 08, runway 10, and 600. It's quite a long flight. 689 miles. We'll save that. And we'll generate the flight. Okay. So we've got a block fuel 8,232 kilos, estimated zero fuel weight 51,326 kilograms. So without further ado, let's get that plugged into the aircraft. And before I do that, let's just bring in the all the flight plans. There we go, that's all done. Okay, so we're on ground power as I said, and we'll just get into FS actions, fuel, and we'll type in our fuel 8232. 8232. We're going to be doing the go around, but that should be enough fuel. Payload is 51.3. 51.3. That goes into there. Okay. Go back to menu, back to FMC, back to POS in it, and then we go to the route and we do the Sierra Victor Papa Romeo Tango November Charlie Mike company route, activate, execute. Caribbean Airlines, I can't think of what their ICAO code is, we'll just do CAR 995, that'll do. And then we go to departures, so we want the departure from Sierra Victor Papa Romeo runway 08, and it's the GNA 1. Okay, and the transition is MUN. There we go. Press execute. Just go to the legs page, just check that's all correct. It is. So it's at or above Golf November Alpha 7,000 feet or above. Okay, so we just need to make sure we've got that dialed in. We'll have the VOR frequency dialed in as well. Back to departure and arrivals. So now we're going to be doing, to begin with, the ELOPO 1, and it is the ELOPO transition, and we're going to be doing the VOR to start with, the VOR Victor. Nope, try that again. VOR Yankee transition, not Papa Juliet Mike. Let's do that again. So ELOPO 1, ELOPO Yankee, not PJ Mike, Papa Juliet Mike. Okay, so we should check all that, because obviously today I'm not quite firing in all cylinders. Let's have a quick look and make sure we've got all those legs. Okay, so here's the top-down view of the departure airport. So it's outbound, then a right turn, back overhead the Golf November Alpha VOR at or above 7,000 feet. So let's just step through the rest of the flight. There we go. That's all looking good so far, but it's the arrival that we're really interested in. ELOPO. Then it's a right turn into Aruba, and then the final approach fix for runway 10, FF10. Now I've got a disco here, you see, and we don't want the PJM transition. Okay, so there's a good catch. So we want to go straight from Aruba to final approach fix. So just pick that up, move it up there, press execute. That's correct. So now we go continue onwards. There we go. And then we've got the missed approach, which takes us right turn 180 degrees within 10 miles, left turn 4,000 feet back into PJM, Papa Juliet Mike. Okay, so that's the flight planning sorted out. After we've done the missed approach, as I said, we'll go back in and do the VOR, the other VOR, which was the VOR X-ray, I believe. So we need to get the rest of the flight sorted out. So we do perf in it. So we do 0 fuel weight twice. Reserves, let's have a quick look at sim brief. I'll just do this off screen. And reserves are today 1,000 kilos. So dial in 1. And cost index, I'm going to go with my old favourite 55. And it says flight level 381's the tops. And I'm happy with that. Let's go 381. Go nice and high. Better view and all that. Okay. We need to check the transition altitude, and we'll do that on the Navigraph charts. The departure plate. And this is showing us 5,000 feet transition altitude. So we do 5,000. And in it goes. Now we do the M1 limit, and as usual we'll do the Utopia, see what it gives us in terms of a D-rate takeoff, assumed temperature. So 767-600. We do SVPR. It's well, this shows you how old Utopia is. It's showing runway 07, which redesignated now as 08. Let's get the information from FSU IPC. So it's 22 degrees, 1012 for the QNH, and the wind is coming from the west. Well, there's no wind, no speed, and it's a weight of 59,531. So we'll do 59,500. That'll do. And it says assumed temperature 69, flap 5. So we'll do 69. We'll do a climb 1, so we get a bit more performance. And then we go to the takeoff page, flap 5. CFG twice to get our trim, 5.13. So just move that to just above the 5 marker, which is just about there. That looks good to me. Okay. And then we do our V speed. So we got 124, 125, 134. Add 10 to 134, going to give us 144 for our initial climb out. There we go. And our initial altitude, if you remember, was back overhead the VOR at 7,000 feet. That's what I'm going to dial in for now. I'm going to pop on our flight directors. I realise that we haven't got our APU running, so let's go and put that on. So fuel pump, we got good pressure. Let's get the APU on. There we go. Let's get some cockpit lighting. You never know what weather you're going to run into en route. So we get co-pilot side sorted out. Get the captain's lighting, then we get some down lighting as well on the front panel, and then we'll do a bit on the pedestal, and that's me happy. And while we're waiting for the AP to fire up, we'll just dial in a squawk code, my old favourite 2526. Don't know why, don't ask me, I have no idea. Okay, 2526, and I'll put that onto not altitude reporting for now. Set up my displays the way I like them, so we do engine instruments twice, and then we do systems once. Okay, on the co-pilot's FMC, you go to the progress page. There it is. And what we need now is let's just see if the APU's, it's fired up, so we get the APU generator online. There we go. Get some air from the APU, and we'll get the windshield heat running. We're all good there. We'll get the pressurization sorted out, and we're going to go up to 380 today, so quite high. 380, and St. Martin's, we know, is sea level, so that can stay at 0 there for the landing altitude. So I think we're okay there. Get rid of the master caution. We need just to change the barometric pressure. We've got 1012. There we go, 1012 is set. Change the display from plan view to map view. Okay, and we need to get the frequency of the VOR dialed in, and that is Golf November Alpha 1147. So 11470 into the VOR here, 114.7. Okay, and we just flip flop that, so we got 11470, and let's get VOR. That should be on VOR 1, and I've got VOR 1 registering here. It's just to our, what would you say, 8 o'clock, somewhere over there on the airfield, and yeah, I think we're all good now. So we'll pretend our passengers have boarded the aircraft, so we'll just get the parking brake on. Parking brake is on. We'll get the ground services off. Okay. Then we can go back to our legs page. That's all good. All the doors should be closed. Let's have a quick look at that. Maybe not. Don't know why. Let's have a look. Let's go back to FS Actions, ground services. Okay. So, alright, we'll do it manually then. We'll get rid of that. Doors. Close the door. Now stairs coming in. And then we get the cargo doors shut. I think it's because I changed airports, so sometimes the ground servicing goes a bit haywire when you do that. I have just made that up, by the way, in case you haven't realised. Okay, so we're all good. TCAS is off, and I think we're ready for a pushback. So we want to push back, nose to the right. Okay, press enter. And okay, so we've got no ground services here. So we just do release parking brake. Master caution, what's that about? Let's have a look. Let's get rid of our parking brake. There we go. We've got a master caution several. Okay. So we'll get our hydraulics on. We'll get fuel pumps on. We'll get our beacon light on. Passengers are all strapped in. And we'll get our left pack off. And we're not pushing back. I'm not quite sure why that is. Let's try that again. Oh, we've got to press hold. There we go. Got there in the end. So let's get number 2 fired up. While that's spooling up, we'll just get our range rings on our nav displays. There we go. So we've got 10. Right, so that's the N2's winding up. Pressure's registering. Looking for 24. 24 we have. And we get the fuel on. So we've got fuel flow, EGT's rising, we've got light up, the big fan is turning, oil temperature and pressure registering. So looks like it's going to be a good start on number 2. Right, for the starter valve to go out. There we go. Now we can do number 1. Okay, parking brake needs to go on, so get that on. There we go. So number 1, N2 is spooling up, oil pressure is registering, looking for 24, 23, 24 we have. On goes the fuel. Now we've got fuel flow. UGT is rising, so we've got light up. The big fan at the front is turning. Oil pressure and oil temperature are both on the up. We can close the pushback helper. So that's all good. We'll wait for the start valve to close. There we go. So up top we've got engine generators. APU can go off. We can switch the APU bleed off. The isolation valve to auto. Left pack can come on. We can put our probe heat on. So that's pretty much the top panel done. We'll put our taxi lights on, and we'll put flaps 5 and auto brake to reject it takeoff, and then we can do our transponder to Tara. So I think we're good there. So we can let go of our brakes, and I've just got to adjust the controls. Just forgive me for a moment, because I think I was last flying the Indy builds. It's just dawned on me. So there we go. Let's get the old Boeing back on. Thank you very much. Boeing, there we go. Apply, save, and resume. Okay, and when you do that, the flaps tend to retract when you go into the menu. On mine, I don't know if it does it on all. So I just need to get flaps 5 extended again. So it's a right turn here, direct onto the runway. We'll just come to a stop, just to make sure we are in a good position to be on the active. Okay. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit on the... Okay, so let's get the landing lights on. Strobe light can come on. We'll just bing bong the crew in the back, let them know. And we can taxi on to the runway. So let's have a look. Clear on the left. Can't see much of the external view. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, and taxi down to the end. It's not a very long runway here. It's about just over 2,000 meters, 2,050. So more than enough for the 600, but nothing more useless than altitude above you and runway behind you. We'll just taxi to the end and just turn the aircraft around. So we've got a little turn area here, it looks like, so we'll just go just off to the right here. Well, it's very convenient. Okay, so around we go. Okay, so we're all set. Water throttle can come on. So just as a very, very quick visual reminder, let's look at the departure. So 066 on the initial heading. So we're going to put that into the MCP shortly. 4,000 feet or above, right turn, back overhead the field. We're going to do all of this on heading and flight level change. We could just do it on VNAV and LNAV, but we're going to do it old school. Okay, so First altitude we're looking for is at or above 4,000, then it's a right turn. Our initial heading is going to be 066. We put heading bug on. There we go. So I think we're good to go. We'll get the elapsed timer running. Let's let the engine spool up. Okay, they're nice and stable. So toga coming on. There we go. So thrust is set. Keep the centre line.
Airspeed alive. knots.
Cross check twice.
V1 rotate.
Round we go.
V2. Positive rate of climb.
Gear coming up. Okay. So stay runway heading to we're at a safe altitude. Then we'll come left onto 066. There we go. Flying it on the flight directors at the moment. We're going to go flight level change. We're going to speed up a little bit to 180. Okay, so we're going to pitch the nose down a bit to help the aircraft accelerate. Okay, so we're going to go flap 1. We're looking for 4,000 feet or above before we do our right turn. So we can go autopilot now because we're on heading mode, flight level change. Autopilot can come on, aircraft will stay stable. Okay, command is shown. And we're going to speed up now to 210 knots just so we can clean the aircraft up. 210 knots, so we can now select slats. "4,000 feet we have. Slats can come up. We're going to go right now all the way around to, that's what I wanted there, I think. There we go. We'll come around all the way around back overhead the field. Okay, switch landing gear off. Switch our nose lights off. Auto brake can come off. Sound depression can come on. We're just levelling off at 7,000. We'll let that happen. So around we keep going round. See this needle here? That's showing us where VOR is, and that green needle as well. Just keep coming round to the right. We'll just let the aeroplane just level off. Go to the high bank angle, there we go. Let's help the aircraft round the corner, because it's this outer button here on the heading knob is the bank angle. I've just gone to 30 degrees, which is just making sure we can get round in time, which we don't seem to be doing. Never mind. Okay, so there we go, and we can just now go direct to the VOR and the heading bug. I'm just aligning the heading bug with the green arrow there, and we're just going to pretend that ATC have told us we can climb to, let's say, flight level 150. There we go, 150, we can accelerate to 250 knots. So that will take care of that, and we'll go flight level change. And we're going to stay on heading mode until we go overhead the VOR. So that the needle is pointing directly ahead. So we're going to go right over the field. Let's go external view. There we go. There's the field down there. So pretty much overhead. Okay. And now we can go at LNAV. It's going to peel off to the right. There we go. There we go. I'm going to switch off this view here. Back to the standard map view. There we go. And zoom out a little bit. There we go. Keep our heading bug in the direction of flight. Good headmanship to do that. Okay, so lovely. Climbing now, passing flight level 100. It's not on VNAV, so the aircraft will not accelerate. But now I'm going to put it onto VNAV. When it gets to 100, it'll accelerate up to its best climb speed, 304, above flight level 100, so we can get rid of the landing lights. We didn't put the ignition onto continuous, there really is no visible moisture around today. We'll let them out of their seats. Rather benign weather. So I think we're all good. Done our after takeoff checklist. Climb checklist really now should be pressurization is building, and it is. We're good. Just check that. Yeah, that's all okay. Good. So we're just doing a very gradual left turn now to follow the track up to Mike Uniform November. We're at our climb speed, so the pocket rocket is doing its job nicely. Okay. Not much more to do or to say, so we'll break off now, and I'll see you back up in the cruise where we'll do our approach briefing. Okay, welcome back to Caribbean Express Airlines. We're flying at 4 times speed at the moment, so it's very beautiful but very quick. You've got to be quick to look out the window and see these lovely Caribbean islands. Anyway, let's get back into the aircraft. Actually no, let's have a quick look around. Why not? A little bit of clouds, scatter clouds. They're just absolutely stunning. Really stunning. Okay, let's get back inside the aircraft so it'll be a bit quieter as well. And let's do a quick approach briefing. We're still running at 4 times speed, so we do need to keep an eye on stuff. So first of all, here's the Aruba 1 arrival. So we're going to go from ELOPO, right turn to Aruba, which is the transition, and then we're going to pick up the VOR, sorry, not that one, we want this one, the VOR Papa Juliet Mike VOR Zulu arrival. So it gets us to Aruba at 1600 feet, dead bear at 1600 feet, and then we do a descent 750 to 850 feet per minute, depending what our ground speed is. Okay, and our missed approach will be 500 feet up here. Okay, so that's fairly straightforward. Then we're going to do a missed approach. So it's a climbing right turn to 4,000 feet, within 10 miles left turn back to Papa Juliet Mike, and then we're going to go and do this one. I'll get it right one day. Okay, so outbound on the radial 308, 2 minutes, right turn, sorry, left turn, inbound radial 096. As soon as we're on the inbound radial, descend to the minimum decision altitude, which is 1040 feet. Okay, so hopefully all fairly straightforward, and we'll see how it works out in practice. So let's get the ELOPO 1 approach in place. Okay, so there's no additional information here. Transition levels fault level 065. So we're just going to put that into the FMC. So we go to descent, forecast, and we put in 6500. There we go. Transition level 065. So when we get to that, this will flash to tell us to go to local QNH, which we should check is under weather. It's showing 1013. Okay, so we've got about 160 miles now to top of descent. Let's look at our legs. We know we need to be at ELOPO. Now you see, this is not quite right, is it? After ELOPO, we should go to Debir. So maybe I've got the wrong approach selected here. VOR Zulu, and it is transitioning at I don't really know where. No, I don't think we're transitioning any of those, so let's just ELOPO 1 at ELOPO, VOR Zulu. Let's see what we get now on the legs page. ELOPO is there, so it's fine. Then we get to ELOPO, then we get to Debir. There we go, that's correct now. So ELOPO at or above 1600 feet, Debir at 1600 feet, but we're going to just change that. ELOPO, we can now move that overhead. Nope. Let's do that again. Cancel. Let's get ELOPO. No, hang on, erase that. ELOPO goes overhead ELOPO here. That's what we want. So ELOPO, ELOPO can go over there. Okay, so I think we're okay now. So I'm going to change that to 1600 feet on the dot. Okay. So I think we're okay. I just need to get my heading knob centered. So let's just move it along. There we go. I'm just going to zoom out on the nav display a little bit. We've got 80 to run to the top of descent. So our first altitude will be, well, 1600 actually, so we can go straight down to 1600. I'm sure that'd give us an intermediate level, but no, we'll stick with this. We'll do 1600. Let's just look at the chart and make sure that is correct. Yeah, it's actually a 1600 DME arc. If I bring this in, it shows us that actually it's a 1600 DME arc. That's the minimum altitude. ELOPO is 1600 presumably or above, and then Debir at 1600. That's the final approach fix. So we could go down to an intermediate altitude. Yeah, we don't want to get too low too quickly, so we'll just go maybe 5,000, and when we know that we're going to be okay in the altitude, we will go down to 1600. So we're all good up top. It's a shame to go past these beautiful islands so quickly, and that's, I guess, the beauty of flight sim as well. So So we will fly the missed approach manually. We could just go on ELVAS, but we're just going to fly it manually. And I guess what we need to do is put the Papa Juliet Mike VOR in. So let's do that now. That's 113.0. 113. And then we just flip it over. There we go. It's showing an ILS, if it's not an ILS. Let's just do that again. 113 is VOR. Thank you very much. So VOR. So we've got about 40 miles to run. I'm going to zoom in on the display a little bit, and we'll break off from the accelerated flight when we get within about 5 to 10 miles of the top of descent. So we can dial in now our lower altitude. We said 5,000 feet. It's just arbitrary. We can make it 10, 15, but let's go 5. Because we're on accelerated flight, all the buttons seem to be a bit sticky, so you press it, nothing much happens, and all of a sudden everything happens. Okay, and we'll just adjust our heading bug. Okay, so we're just now under 20 miles, so it's a good time probably to switch off accelerated flight. So we'll just hit the reset button. Speed is showing now at 1 times, so normal speed, back to legs page. We've got a lower altitude set, we're on VNAV and on LNAV, so the aircraft should start to descend. I will arm the auto brake, even though we're not going to land off the first approach. And if you remember, the first approach has got an inbound track to the VOR 0906, and that would be the Zulu, I think, there. Okay, 0906. So we can dial 096 into the approach course. There we go. So top of descent any second. There we go. We're on normal time, so it should stick within the vertical descent profile here. 180 feet too low at the moment. Once it catches the profile, the speed will be better maintained. Okay. So, is it in sight yet? No, but what is in sight is other traffic. Okay, well, we'll leave them running. It won't stop us doing our flight. I could switch off the traffic, but I quite like having other aircraft around. Okay, so auto brake 2. It's not the longest runway, St. Martin. Just to get the airport chart here. 2,300 meters. They operate quite big aircraft here. Don't forget the 747, 787s, 777s, all sorts of stuff. So remember, we're going to come down. Our missed approach on this one here is 500 feet. So what we're going to do, we're going to add that into the west approach altitude. Try that again, shall we? There we go, 500 feet. So it's a very steep right hand turn a little bit further. So we just get plan mode on the nav display and zoom in a touch. Just go to step. So we're in fact there already. So there's a ELOPO. That's the turn already showing there. Can't get a decent view of it. I suppose that's the best. So in from ELOPO, steep right hander down to 1600 feet or above for Luba, and then De Beer at 1600 feet on the dot. That's quite a sharp turn. And there isn't a provision actually in that to do a hold. ELOPO straight in. So for the descent segment we need to be fully configured for landing, so we need to select our landing speed. We'll do a flap 30. So we've got a VREF 129 that's over the numbers, so approach speed will be 134, probably a lot higher than that for the initial part of the approach. And remember it's a descent rate of about 750 to 850 feet per minute. So how are we doing over there? So we've got caribou flying around in the caravan. Okay, so passing flight level 220 shortly, so I'll get them strapped in. There we go. Okay, slight left turn now. We're overhead ELOPO. Let's bring that heading bug around. There we go. Can't quite see there. There it is. So we're quite a bit above the glide at the moment. About 1,000 feet above the glide. Hopefully the aircraft will correct that. It's coming down, so I think it is 970. Just need to keep an eye on it in case we need to intervene manually. Chesterfield Island is a very busy airport, so there'll be lots of other traffic around. We want to be at the correct altitudes when we get to them. So 700 feet, so it is correcting slowly. So just as a reminder, the missed approach, it'd be a right turn when we're heading a 180 within 10 miles of PJM, which is dialed in, and we're actually at 30 miles from it at the moment. Left turn, still climbing to 4,000 feet back towards the field. So there's PJM, it's pointing over there. We'll see how it all goes. Don't think there's any speed, doesn't say speed, but we won't go fast. Maybe 180, 210, something like that. 180 will keep flaps 5. So we're still slightly above our glide. We're 440 feet or so above it. I wonder if it just needs a bit of a hand. I don't know why it's struggling with this, but it's increasing a little bit. So let's intervene. Go. Vertical descent mode, 2,800 feet per minute. Get that to 3,000. Catch up that vertical descent. We've got to be careful though, because we don't go below 10,000 feet above 250 knots, so let's slow that down now. Okay, so we'll slow down. If we strap them in, we'll get our landing lights on, nose lights on, all will switch the igniters on this time. Even though there's no visible moisture, I don't want any problems with the go around. So 250 on the speed, we're slightly below our profile, so we'll go back onto VNAV when we're at 250 knots. We're just getting below 10,000 feet now, so we can go VNAV. Okay. It's probably going to slow it to 240 actually, I think. So I think we're okay. We've got that right hander coming up about 20 miles. Zoom in. And what we're going to do, we're going to put the heading bug onto 066. All ready for the final approach course. Oh, sorry, 096. So we're now a bit slow. It's struggling a little bit, I don't know why. But we're on profile, pretty much. That's why the speed brake was out. Silly me. big green light here telling me speed brake was out. Okay, so now that'll solve the speed problem. Okay, so we're approaching 5,000 feet, which we're going to make just before the turn. We'll let the aircraft descend now. We don't want to intervene. I'll go down to 1600. 1600 we've got set. Reflected here. From VNAV path and LNAV. And when we come around the corner, we'll pick up the 096 radial. So we'll go into VOR mode. We've got the radial set already. And then we'll go into VOR lock mode here. Our descent will be at Debier, which is here. And we'll descend at between 750 and 850. Our speed should be around 150, 160, I would guess by then. Okay, so 065 was our transition altitude, so that will start to flash any second. How are we looking? Signaling. There we go, standard pressure. It was showing 1013, but we'll press the magic B button. Yep, 1013. So we're just about to do that sharp right-hander. And better to be slower, so it'll keep within the boundaries of this turn. At the moment, suggesting it will manage it. So we could go speed intervention if we need to. .210 on the speed I've got. Bring that speed brake out. Keep my hand on it so I won't forget it this time. Of course it's in a turn now, so bring the speed brakes in. It will lose speed anyway in the turn. Reset speed to 180. Gonna go flaps, slats and flaps 1. And flaps 5 coming out. Okay. Now we're going to go to VOR mode. Oops, not that. VOR mode, thank you very much. VOR lock. And it should intercept the 096 radial. Speed out to 170. And dead beer is 4.9 to run from PJR, so we've got 12 to run at the moment. Let the aircraft descend to 1600 feet. I'll help it down a little bit. What have we got? Yeah, we're good. There's a runway ahead of us. Not a cloud in the sky. Lovely. So 4.9 from PJM. That's dead air. We just want to get down a bit faster than this, I think. Let's get down to 1600 feet. We'll go 160 on the speed. I need to get to 1600 before dead air. I think we will do it. Close though. I should have let it come down a bit faster. Altitude acquired, so 1600 we have. And at 4.9 we can begin our descent. We'll go 150 on the speed. Landing gear can come down. Flaps 15. Arm the speed brakes. And 4.9 is coming up very shortly. Now our ground speed is 170 at the moment, 160, 170. So we'll go down 700 feet per minute initially, see how it looks. We're nicely on the radial 096. Runway should be directly ahead of us. There it is. We're looking for 4.9. It's only half a mile to run now. So just get ready to go onto vertical speed. I'm just going to reset that to 0. So 4.9 we have, and we go down. Oops. Oh, good start. Let's try that again, shall we? Okay, let's switch the autopilot off and do it manually then. Okay, and we'll just go down a bit. Let's zoom out. So we want
1,000.
So staying on the radial, maybe a little bit right to track, that's normal. Okay, we're coming down to 750. We've got the airport environment in sight. We're going to do a go around at 500. We're 600 at the moment.
500.
And we're going to go around. Here we go, going around. Toga button is set. Gears coming up.
Too low. Gear. Too low.
Okay.
Gear. Too low.
We
Gear.
can let the aircraft accelerate. Clean up the aircraft. There we go. Flaps 5. Climbing. 4,000 feet set. Right turn. Onto 180. Heading mode. We've got autopilot can come on, flight level change. So 180 set on the heading, aircraft is accelerating. Go 180 on the speed. Oops. Look, their autopilot wasn't on. There we go. So 180 on the heading, autopilot's on, flight level change, thank you very much. So we're just going to level off at 4,000, staying at 180. Within 10 miles, switch undercarriage off. Within 10 miles, left turn direct back to Papa Juliet Mike. We need to go to the other approach plate, which is the VORX. Okay, I'm going to switch off my position here, don't want to cheat. Okay, I'm a little bit, like I say, a little bit right of centre, but okay, I'm okay with that. 308 is our outbound radial, so 308. Okay, and we're coming up to 5 miles, and we might as well come around now to back to this green arrow, which is Papa Juliet Mike. Right turn, sorry, left turn. Not a very good go around, I'm afraid, but heck. Okay, keep going right. Keep going left, I should say. Back to the VOR. Stayed well within 10 miles. There we go. So okay, let's try that again. This time we need to time 2 minutes. So we go outbound, descending to 1,600 feet. Okay, so we go direct now to PJM. Okay. And we are to the left of the localizer course. As we go overhead, this bar here will start to move to the middle. We'll just go to VOR lock. We'll stay at 180 on the speed. Happy with that. This time our minimum is 1040 feet. We'll do flaps 30. Okay, so we've got a ref of 128, a bit lower than before because we've got a little bit less fuel. Sticking with auto brake 2. Spoilers are still armed. Okay, so we've got about 3.5 to run to get back overhead the airfield, and then we'll go outbound on the 308 radial. I don't know why this today it seems very sticky. We might click something, it seems to click more than once or click not enough, I don't know. Strange. So 2.5 to run. As you can see, that bar is coming in. Only when we're outbound we'll go VOR localizer mode. Then we'll descend to 1,600 vertical speed. 1.5 miles to run. We're still in the heading mode, so that's fine. Okay, VOR lock mode. Aircraft should turn to follow it. It's not. Why is that? Ah, we're in the heading mode. There we go. Should go now. Well, I don't know, it's in the mood. We'll go manual, we'll go 1600 feet. Vertical speed, we'll make sure we get down there. 2 minute on the clock. Even my clock's not working, isn't that good? Oh, come on. I really don't know why the autopilot didn't pick up the VOR just then. But we're just chasing the needle at the moment. Here it comes back in. We go back to, there we go. We're descending now, passing 2600. Now I started the timer very late, so I'm not quite sure where we are. For some reason it just wasn't, the button's quite worn out on my Cytec yoke, but it's telling me we've got a minute to run, but I don't quite think that's right, so we'll do 45 seconds and we'll go around to the left. So 1600 feet we're just about coming up to. Just reduce the rate of descent a bit. So, and we've got 10 seconds to go before we start our turn. Okay, and round we go. So just keep heading select, and then we want to come back in on the 096 radial. Zero 96 we've got. Just watch that heading bug. Keep coming round. We'll give it an angle of about 30 degrees so to intercept that radial, something like that. And then we start our descent pretty soon after we're on that radial. Should roll out here. Hopefully we'll intercept the radial. Here it comes. VR localizer mode. Is it taking it? It's gone white, so it should take it up. Come on. There. Should do. It's on the heading select at the moment. VOR localized mode is armed. It's in white. It should go green. There we go. It's picked it up. Finally. Now we can start our descent and reset our heading bug. So gear can come down. We're going to go to 150 on the speed. Flap 15. And set our most approach altitude. Down we go, 800 feet per minute. What have we got? We've got the runway ahead of us. Yes, thank you. Finally. And just come down a bit faster. We seem to be quite close. Okay, so this time we're going to do a landing. So autopilot's coming off. Auto throttle's coming off. To switch the alarms off. I'm going to match my throttles, see whether the engine instruments are now, the M1, so it's going to move my throttles to match that. That should give me about the same rate of descent. So 1,000 feet, we're about 3 miles out, that's looking good to me. Okay, and we want 133 on the speed, so we'll go 133 on the speed, which is VREF 128 plus 5. Okay, slow down a bit, we're going to go flaps 30. Flap 30 we have.
Approaching minimums.
And that's not the right minimums. I forgot to reset the minimums. Okay, because...
400.
Okay, so let's have a look. How are we doing?
300.
So, reduce speed now to 133. Come on. Thank you. 133 we've got. 133 we've got.
100. Sync rate. 30. 20. 10.
There we go. Reverse thrust coming on, not the longest runway. Reverse is deployed, going manual braking. Full reverse thrust. We'll just do a quick U-turn here on the runway. Okay, so ATC have cleared us backtrack. Of course they have. Simulator. Use a bit of differential throttle just to help the nose come round. There we go. Lovely. Good job. I will vacate here. So flaps can start coming up. Co-pilot's busy doing that. Spoilers in. We'll get rid of the landing lights. Strobe light can come in. We need to fire up the APU. Contingency ignition can come off. There we go. Let's expedite a bit, Fabio. Thank you. Here we go. So, what have we got? Okay, clear on the right, clear on the left. Oh, come on. Okay, so is the APU fired up? Not quite. We'll go to one of the gates, I think. Water brake can come off. Flight directors can come off. And we'll take the gate on the left, I think. Okay, the steering on this seems to be very odd at the moment. I don't know. It's actually quite behaving. No, it seems okay. I don't know. Alright, so we're just approaching terminals, which are taxi lights off. Put our APU gen on. Put our APU bleed on. Isolation valve can go on. Take a right into this gate here. Okay, so let's try and stop in the right place. 737 there. probably way too short. Do I care? Not really. Parking brake's coming on. APU gen is still on. Engines off. Let them out their seats. Just call up the air stair. Jetway. Okay, it's not animated. Right, we'll go good old-fashioned stairs then. So FS actions, doors, air stairs can come out. Open the cargo door. There we go. So, welcome to Princess Juliana. Bit of a handful of a flight, so apologies for my poor airmanship at times, but you know, we got there in the end. Take care, see you soon.